So I'm someone who always wanted to be pregnant, but after my first pregnancy and this current one, I realized I don't like being pregnant.
Hey guys, this is Dave.
And Jasmine.
And this is Engineered by God, where we navigate life from a Christian perspective. In today's video, we are talking about something that I am going through personally, and that is my wife's pregnancy.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to talk to you guys about some of the symptoms that I'm experiencing, physical, emotional, and just how it impacts my relationships and my career. So it started because I felt some fatigue and I felt some heightened smell.
Here's the thing, she's saying some. It wasn't some. Jazz was super tired, super tired. And the heightened smell thing is legit, guys. I swear, Jazz could be coming home from work and she'll call me and say, Dave, I can smell the kitchen from here. Can you take the trash out? Like it wasn't just some. Yeah. We were pretty sure you were pregnant before you took the test.
I know. And I thought I was pregnant, but it would just be too early to get a positive test. So, but I took it anyway, and it was positive. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I expected. And so, some other things that I was experiencing at the time. So, I think with the physical symptoms, I was experiencing, like I said, fatigue. And I mean, I was really exhausted. I would wake up. I went to sleep at 8 o'clock. I woke up at 7 and I'm still tired. That wasn't enough sleep. And no amount of coffee or caffeine was doing me any good. I was physically tired and I really just wanted to go back to sleep. I'm like, oh no, this is an issue. This is a real issue. And I also was experiencing what they call morning sickness. But it's really all day sickness.
See, so I have a theory about this morning sickness thing, because when Jazz first got sick with Josiah, our first son, I'm like, this is not morning sickness, this is all day sickness. I feel like some guy saw his wife sick in the morning, went to work and came back and maybe she was okay and was like, this is morning sickness. Because if you're with your wife all day, or anyone who's pregnant who's experiencing this, it's not morning sickness. It doesn't care what time of the day it is. That food is not staying in your stomach.
But some people, they only get nauseous in the morning. They don't experience it at night.
Lucky.
Yeah, they are lucky.
It'd be the same people that be like, oh, I just eat burgers all day and I got a 6-pack. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you've been eating kale for years.
I know, but yeah. So, so, I mean, for me, like I said, with Josiah, it was really bad. So, basically, if I would drink a teaspoon of water, if I ate one cracker, it was coming back up. Nothing was staying down. Within 30 minutes, it was coming back up. And I wasn't hydrated, and I wasn't getting the proper nutrients. And if that happens for a significant period of time, which it was a significant period of time with Josiah, then you're at risk of being hospitalized. Well, being sent to the hospital, where they keep you on IV fluids to make sure you get the nutrients you and the baby needs. But luckily, before it got there, they were like, okay, why don't you try this medication and see how that helps. And it did help, and that was Unisom. And so with this pregnancy, I'm like, oh, I already got the Unisom on deck. Okay, I'm ready. So I was taking the Unisom, and I'm like, this ain't working as well as it did the first time. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's happening. I was still nauseous. I was still vomiting. It just wasn't as bad, with every single thing I ate. But I was still experiencing it. And so, I tried to look and see what other things you can do to get rid of nausea. And they were like, one, you got to eat regularly, because if you eat, you're nauseous. If you don't eat, you're nauseous. I don't know. And not eating, really sugary things or a lot of candy. So I'm like, okay, let me nip that in the bud, which did help a little bit. And I don't know, there were other things. You guys can look on YouTube or the internet and find those things out. But, I was trying those things, but it's really hard because another thing that you experience is food aversions. And so with that, like, I can just look at something and tell that my stomach ain't gonna like it, that I might vomit it up. And if I even think that I'm gonna vomit, then like, nah, I ain't touching it.
And it's weird because it could have been something that you love or something that you had the previous day and you really liked it. And you're like, no, I will throw up if I eat that right now. I'm like, how?
Right. And so one thing, like, I love ramen noodles, okay? Beef, then shrimp, then chicken. That's how it goes, okay? And I normally can always eat that. But with this pregnancy, I made it, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, nah, dumped it in the sink. Like, that's how I knew something was wrong, because I can normally always tolerate that. But I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. But yeah, so pretty much anything that I thought about that seemed good, that's what I ate. If it was water rice, then I would just eat water rice for dinner. Like, that's just what it was. DoorDash, and the water rice comes right to my door, you know? So I was just trying to get by, and a lot of people just try and get by during that time. Another thing that's worse for me is the fact that I have chronic migraine. And so, like, the chronic migraine, the frequency of the migraines is heightened during pregnancy. It can be heightened or it can decrease. But what happened with my pregnancy with Josiah is during the first trimester, especially since I was not getting nutrients, the frequency was increased significantly. And after the first trimester, they basically went away. And so this pregnancy, during the first trimester, the frequency was also significantly increased. And some of the symptoms with my migraines are sensitivity to light and nausea and vomiting. So it was like, I just can't win, you know what I mean? Even if it's a good day and the Unisom is working, if I get a migraine, then forget about it. Like, I feel the same. I feel the same as if I didn't take the Unisom. So it was rough. It was really rough. And then along with that, you have kind of like the emotional side. And some people experience like a lot of...
Hold on, before you go any further, back to the physical thing. Something that she didn't say is, we felt like everything was double. Like, we feel like the fatigue was double from what it was when we had Josiah. We felt like the nausea was like, even though you were taking the Unisom, you were still nauseous. So we were a little afraid that there might be double babies in there. We were like, if there's one more, I don't know what we're going to do. So that was something that we were kind of like thinking about. When we got that first ultrasound, we saw one, we were like, whew, okay, we can deal.
Yeah, and fun fact, it's my paternal grandma, but still my grandma nonetheless, is a twin. So I was like, ooh, maybe, they say it skips a generation, so maybe. But no, it's only one baby in here, okay. And so with the emotional side, like I said, some people, they experience anxiety. I think a common thing is like mood fluctuations with all the hormones and all that. Like, you can just be happy one minute and then next minute you're just like sad and you're just not happy.
And honestly, like, it is really weird seeing that. Like, Jazz is just sitting there and now she's crying. I'm like, what? Like, what just happened? Like, what's going on? I don't know. I'm just sad. I'm like, what do you mean you know you're just sad? I don't know. I'm just sad. And sometimes too, Jazz can be a little not pleasant to be around, honestly. Like, I know Jazz is not a morning person, right? In the morning, don't talk to me, that's Jazz, right? But now, sometimes she's not a morning, afternoon, evening, night person, all day person. Like, I'm just like, wow, like, who is this person I'm married to right now?
Yeah, and, that gets in the way of your relationships. And I think that this pregnancy so far has impacted those things. Like, if I feel like I'm not in a mood, then I'm not gonna push through. I'm not gonna try and be happy. I'm just gonna be me. And so I'm like, it's best for me to stay away from people during this time. Only the essentials when necessary. Sometimes Dave is an essential. Sometimes he's not.
Goodness.
No. I mean, he's an essential. He's always an essential. But the thing about Dave, and you guys know this if you have a partner, significant other, whatever, I feel like they get not only the best of you, but they also get the worst of you. Like, I ain't holding back. I'm not. I live with you 24/7. You expect me to try and put on an happy face all the time? No. You gonna get this. You gonna get this.
Listen, that's not right. Here's the thing. I feel like if I say what I want to say, people are gonna try to come for me on the comment section. But it's like let me not say nothing.
Say it. And we'll bleep it out.
I'm good. I am good. Thank you. Pass.
But I will say Dave has been great. He's been amazing. All the areas where I'm slacking, he picks it up. And I love it. And he loves me.
The only thing is you can't pick up sex by yourself. So, like, you know, that part, I don't know, guys.
Wow. Okay. I mean, listen, it is what it is. Okay. I tried. But yeah, so I mean, relationships, you know, you gotta navigate the waters and all that stuff. I think the only relationship I really try to give energy to when I don't feel like it is my son. And that's just because.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yes. Yeah, you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about. I know you were thinking about that.
That other way I was beefing. When you was beefing with Josiah.
Listen, we were beefing. Okay, we were beefing because he was being ridiculous, and I was like, I can't do it.
Talking about I have energy for my son. I was there.
That was one day.
You lucky he can't talk.
That was one day. He always be beefing. Talk about me.
You lucky he can't talk.
Oh my gosh. But I really didn't want anything to do with it. I'm like, go to your father. Nope, don't come near me. Leave me alone. I was John that day. But, you know, it is what it is. He forgave me.
But hold on. But something that I just thought about right now, too, in relationships, but really the relationship with God, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know, in this period when Jazz is pregnant, it's like, there's just this race for comfort. Like, how can you be as comfortable as possible? Because you're just not feeling well, right? Yeah. And I feel like that mentality has, like, also crept into our spiritual life, where, like, the effort that we would put in our devotion, you know what I mean, in our reading and our praying and stuff like that, we haven't been doing that. And instead we've been, like, replacing it with, like, you know, watching shows or going to bed early or whatever it is, but it hasn't been that. And that's something, too, that's, like, the thing about, you know, how you're feeling right now is like it doesn't just impact one box. It impacts everything, right? And sometimes you don't even realize the impacts of those things if you don't really like take time to think about it. Because we're going to talk about your career soon, but it's like it really does change your life. Like when you get pregnant. Yeah. Go figure. Who knew? Your life changes when you have a baby, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely validity to that. And just kind of in addition to that, I'm not going to get into it, but basically not like relying on God the way you should. And so you feel like you can replace him with these things. Mm-hmm. But if you rely on him like you should before, you probably wouldn't or would be less likely to do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother video.
Right.
But yeah, so the last area I want to talk about is kind of my career. And I've talked about this a little bit in other videos, I think, but my career can be pretty demanding. So I'm a lead project engineer, and so I'm in charge of it all, you know? I'm working on this project, and I'm building this system for a test site for a customer. And, you know, from last year to this year, I've been doing all the parts. And now, at this point, this point, I'm in the building phase. So it's like design, conception, design, you know, and I'm in the building phase. There's other phases, but whatever. So that requires me to go into the office. And it's a lot easier to experience morning sickness when you can work from home, right? And you are more like in charge of your schedule. You can take that time, take a 30-minute nap during your lunch break, or, you know, go to the bathroom and vomit and lay out on the floor for as long as you want. for the most part. But when I have to go into the office, I'm interacting with other people. Now I'm feeling terrible inside, but I have to put on a happy face. I have to be, pleasant to be around. I have to ask people for things if I need things, and I'm being physical. I'm not just going in the office and sitting at my computer. Like, I'm going in and I'm building this thing. So I'm moving around a lot. And like I said, I was really tired. And when I'm pregnant, I get out of breath so much easier than I would if I wasn't. So it's just a lot more demanding physically, and then a lot of mental power that's going into it, and it just takes a lot out of me. And so, during this time I'm supposed to be going in 5 days a week, but honestly, on average, I probably was only making it in about 3 times a week because of the sick time that I was taking, because I wasn't feeling good this day. I wasn't feeling good enough to fake it till I make it. You know what I mean? But with that, I still have a deadline. I still have the customer asking me, when is this happening? When's that happening? Why hasn't this happened yet? All these questions, and I'm the person who has to have the answers. If I'm out sick one day, there's nobody else I can delegate this to. There's nobody else doing the work for me, so it's just work that didn't get done that day. And the thing about it is that I can't, people know that I'm pregnant, but a lot of people aren't really empathetic or sympathetic to what I am experiencing. And I'm not going to be telling everybody, because that just feels like I'm just making excuses, and it doesn't really matter. I still got to get the work done at the end of the day. So, it's just like, you just take all of the criticism and all of the feedback on the chin, and you just keep pushing forward.
And again, that doesn't just impact your work, it impacts your relationship. Like, when Jazz has a rough day and she comes home, I know, like her energy is not the same as if she had a good day or she was off that day. Sometimes, and I know a lot of people experience this, but like the Sunday night dread of Monday morning, I feel like at a certain point every Sunday I just see in her eyes, it's just like, man, I gotta deal with this. And that impacts us. That impacts how you're gonna be with, Josiah and all your relationships and all that stuff. And I think as a guy, before, seeing this firsthand, you just don't know, hey, when someone's pregnant and she's going to the bathroom, she might just be throwing up. And you can't, like you said, when you're home and you're throwing up, you can just be comfortable in the, however you can be comfortable. But throwing up at a work bathroom, that just seems gross. You know what I mean? So it's like having that level of understanding. I feel like is a kind of difficult for a lot of people unless you've experienced it or you've seen someone experiencing it. Because a lot of women too, fortunately have had pregnancies where they haven't had all these symptoms.
Yeah,
so you might wish. Right. So you might be married to someone and they had a baby and you never seen any of these things. Right. That just wasn't your experience. Right. And so yeah, it impacts a lot of things. Even this, trying to record a video on some type of regular basis is really hard because work is demanding, like she said, for both of us, honestly. Yeah. But now we got to factor in how she's feeling. When we typically would record, she's beat. She wants to go to bed, you know what I mean? Or maybe she's dealing with another migraine. So it's we want to record regularly, but life happens.
Yeah, life happens. Quick story of this. Quick story. There was one time I'm in the bathroom and I could tell I have to throw up, but I'm just really nauseous and it's not coming up, and I'm just in there taking a long time, and this lady is waiting for me. The janitor is waiting for me because she has to clean the bathroom, and she's like, how long you gonna be? I gotta clean this bathroom. I'm trying to throw up here, can you leave me alone? I just gave her a bunch of attitude, and I'm like, when I came out, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling well. She's like, it's okay, but I felt so bad because she telling me to hurry up. I'm like, miss, leave me alone. You could clean the other bathrooms. I'm in this one. Come on. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And people don't know. But even though I don't like pregnancy. I'm just going to be honest. I'm uncomfortable the whole time, even outside of the first trimester. Your body just doesn't do. Your body just a foreign place. It just doesn't do what you want it to do, what it used to do, and it's annoying. But at the end of it, you get a beautiful baby. And it makes it all worth it. You know, they come out, you see them do a first little gas mouth.
Listen,
like, oh
listen, stop it. Those first few months, it's not, oh, it's a beautiful baby. It's, oh, we're not sleeping. That's what it is. Don't, listen, it's nice now. I mean, Josiah's at that point where when we pick him up from wherever he's at, he's excited to see us. That is awesome. That is a great feeling. And I think, you know, parents who've experienced that, they know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But when he first came home from the hospital, he was like, no one is sleeping tonight. No one is sleeping tonight. Okay?
I am really not looking forward to doing that whole part all over again, but I gotta do it. Like, what can I do?
But all jokes aside, though, it is an amazing thing that you get to have this relationship with a new human being that you created and see them grow. It is honestly a wonderful thing.
It's our favorite thing, my favorite thing. So I'm excited and I'm miserable at the same time.
But yeah, so much has happened in such a short amount of time when Jazz has been pregnant. But there's been a lot of them things that have been happening in our marriage in general. And if you want to check some of those things out, click one of these videos down here. And if you're new to our channel, subscribe if you like this video. And hit the bell notification so you know when we're posting. And of course, if you like the video, smash that like button.
Give it a thumbs up. Yeah, outside of that, we'll see you in the next one.